Hitchcock used Ed Gein to reinvent horror with Psycho. Tobe Hooper came along and used the same killer to reinvent horror again in the 70s. Leave your thoughts about this movie below. Tell me why I'm wrong. But let's get 5 minutes up on the board and talk Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is a weird and deeply disturbing movie that when you think about it feels like it shouldn't really work, mainly because a lot of the main characters in the movie, when you spend some time with them, feel very one note. The movie's strong suit is not in its characters, it's in the doomed atmosphere that creates a continued level of dread. Pulling back on what it is that makes the movie do that so well is the suggestion of violence. Movies that I love tend to kind of follow this idea of show, don't tell, and that just makes any type of emotion you're trying to convey more convincing. We hear news stories about grave robberies that are going on. We see bones on the floor. We see skulls of animals on the wall. You don't ever full on see what it is that these terrible people do. These characters feel like they've been locked in a basement for years and they've only just now been released. And they're terrifying because, again, the level of suggestion at the fact that they are human makes it very uncomfortable. Like, we see the fear in Leatherface when one of the men gets away. We see his embarrassment in front of his own family. We see the anger in that terrifying ending before that, wonderful cut to black. It's awful because you can see that these are humans, but they act in a way that is so alien to us that we don't understand that suggestion is where the horror lives in this movie. The movie hints at a rarely seen part of the world that is bleak, random, and disgusting, and by never showing you exactly what's going on, that shows the power of suggestion, and it's enough to make you sick. I mean, after all, we never really know what type of meat is hanging in the furnace. On a technical side, okay, the patience of the edit, particularly at the beginning with the hitchhiker, the movie is patient enough to not overplay its hand on the creepiness of this character. The character is extended, a level of polite caution from the characters. You might be creepy, but you don't want to be unkind. It establishes reality through that patience. And it makes sense. The car breaks down and the building of reality, the convincing level of reality, I think makes it so that you never have that, these stupid kids, it's a horror movie. That's what makes the change in the movie work perfectly. Whenever the one character goes into the house, the movie changes on a dime with such force that you are instantly terrified. It's one of the greatest atmosphere changes in movies. This is an example of what sets this movie totally apart from horror movies before and afterwards. It is this patience of drawing out the scene. There's no music whenever he walks into the house. There is no music whenever he sees Leatherface. There is no music whenever he gets hit in the face. It is only whenever Leatherface forcefully shuts that door that we get our first moment of the soundtrack. And I just cannot imagine what it must have been like to be in that theater whenever it happened. All of the tropes of normal horror are not there. All the signals that something terrifying is about to happen is not there. You just get that one moment of a monster, and it's just total doom. And you don't even get, it's not even a full-on soundtrack. It's just this moaning, groaning that throughout the rest of the movie is emanating from these characters. Still creates this nasty, doomed world. This all builds up to that chase at the end, which is masterfully done because of all this patience, but it's got fluid camera movements mixed with darkness. Again, the lack of soundtrack makes real weight and real drama for the chase in the end. And they're broken up again by phenomenal bits of silent terror. First, whenever Sally's in the shop, and then at that dinner table, man, and the camera work, the 16mm camera work, with the close-ups of the eyes, absolutely terrifying. Texas Chainsaw Massacre took the nasty underbelly of crime that exists in the real world, gave us a new angle of horror with it by introducing lots of suggestion, suspense, patience, and silence while building a very, very disgusting world. It allowed horror movies to depict the nastiness of real horror going forward. It turned killers ugly, and that is all part of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre's legacy. I would say if you like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, other movies to watch are Eraserhead for the world building, and also Alien. So again, leave your thoughts below about this movie. Do you enjoy it? Do you think that it is effective? Be sure to subscribe to 5 Minute Critic for future updates on reviews and movie news.